Welcome on into the Chat Sports NFL Mock Draft Spectacular. We are doing the first mock draft across all Chat Sports channels. So I am in charge of picking for the channels that I run, which is the Browns, Broncos, and Falcons channel. And I'm going to play it like how I would do it if I were the GM. I usually like to do mock drafts of what do I think the GM would do, since that, to me, is the best way to do a mock draft because you want to know what your team's going to do. But today, I'm going to be selfish. Today, I'm going to do, here's what I would do if I were in charge, because that's what all of the Chat Sports hosts are doing. We're going to go 3 rounds. It's going to be a ton of fun. Each team will have 60 seconds on the clock. We are using almost every single studio we have here at Chat Sports. There are 18 shows live at the moment. It's a ridiculously high number, something like that. So happy to have you along. I am tricasting, really, 3 different channels: Browns Report, Broncos Breakdown, and Falcons Today. 3 channels that I host for here at Chat Sports. But who do you want your team to draft? We're going to get this draft started officially at 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. So a little under 30 minutes from now, but I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to get in the chat and kind of get, the juices flowing before this draft got underway. So we'll have the Browns picking first of these 3 channels at number 2, followed by the Falcons at 15, and the Broncos at 20. I'm not going to tell you guys who I'm going to pick, who I've already predetermined to pick for those 3 teams, but then again, I can't really say that with much confidence because the guy I might want may not be available, so we'll have to kind of roll with the punches. But who do you want your team to draft? Tyrone says Abdul Carter for the Browns. Eamon, there will be no trades. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this at Chat Sports, so our bosses wanted to keep it a little bit on the more simpler side. If trades were allowed, though, I'd say for the Browns, I would still stay at number 2. For the Falcons and the Broncos, I would be very open to trading back. It'd be fun to get future first-round draft picks, and then in next year's 3-round Chat Sports mock draft, I'd go into it with, like, Atlanta's pick that year and the Steelers' first-round pick or something like that. Christopher says Mike Green. Let's see. On our Broncos stream, let me know who you guys want me to select for Denver. Again, I'm not going to tip any picks. I'm not going to spoil anything for what I'm thinking right now. I'll let it be a surprise in the moment, and you guys can see it on screen. Cloud says Travis Hunter. Greasy Flight is in the chat. Good to see you. Kaiden says Matthew Golden from Texas for the Broncos. We have Michael in the chat. I know this is a little bit unplanned and, truly one of a kind, but it's awesome to have so many familiar names and faces in the chat. We got ZD Productions here. Boyd says Mike Green, you are a Falcon. That's a dangerous game, Boyd. Take it from me. I do not recommend that to the faint of heart. Let's see. Jess, what's up? How you doing? Jessica says Travis Hunter for the Browns. Z-Money Edits, new sub. Welcome aboard. Okay, so let me know who you want your team to draft in the chat. Also, hit that thumbs up button if you have not already. We're going to have a ton of fun. 3 rounds. It's going to go kind of fast, and then we'll have probably some lull periods as some teams are going to take all 60 seconds to think their pick over, but I'm excited. Right now, the consensus for the Falcons channel is Mike Green. No consensus on our Broncos channel. And on our Browns channel, it is kind of split between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. Eamon says Will Johnson. Lav S says Michael Williams. So we got a lot of different names being tossed out there at the moment. Continue to shout out who you would like to see your team select in the chat. I can't wait for the draft this year because it feels like such a unique draft where there's so much unknown at the top. And even at the top, there's a lot of unknown because the prospects don't really feel like top 5 draft pick prospects. You know what I mean? Does Mason Graham strike you as a guy in last year's draft that would push to be a top 5 pick? I don't even think Mason Graham in last year's draft would have gone top 15. And I'm not trying to pick on Mason Graham, but you can do this for a lot of guys who are mocked to go top 5. Take Abdul Carter. Last year, would he go top 10? I'm not convinced that he would have gone top 10. Maybe the Falcons. No, think about it. It was going to be quarterbacks. Let's just go through it last year's draft, all right? top 3 stay the same. All 3 teams, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. The Cardinals at 4. Oh, what did I say? Oh, no, I still think that stays the same. I don't think the Bears would change the pick right now. No, I don't think they would. In a redraft, I think the Bears still take Caleb Williams. But at number 4, I think the Cardinals would still take Marvin Harrison Jr. over Abdul Carter. You got to remember, don't think about what you know now about them. Think about what you knew about them going into last year's draft. The Chargers at 5, I think would still have taken Joe Alt over Abdul Carter. So we'll come back to it. I do have to give a quick shout out to our sponsor today, which is Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard to get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. So if you want to go to a Cavs game, a Nuggets game, or a Braves game, check out Game Time first. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater. So many awesome deals going on at Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So Reed is muted today. Unfortunately, the microphone's just not cooperating. But he does want to ask, who will your team pick in the draft? Not who do you want, which are 2 different things. I always like to answer the question of who I think they're going to pick. While there are some pros to the who I would pick, the biggest pro is if you do enough draft coverage over several years, you can build up a good track record of having good opinions on prospects. So at the end of the day, who do you think when you close your eyes is going to hear their name being called when your team is on the clock? For the Browns, I think it's going to be Travis Hunter. For the Falcons at pick 15, I think it is going to be Mike Green. For the Broncos at number 20, if it's not Omarion Hampton, because he goes earlier, I think it's going to be Derek Harmon out of Oregon, the defensive tackle. So those are my predictions. I've got to put like a backup in for Denver at 20 because Hampton could go before 20. And as for Atlanta, my backup would be at 15. I would say Shamir Stewart, Texas A&M defensive end. Those would be the backup I toss it. The Browns, I think we know at this point. Quick Falcons news, just general NFL news as well. The Kirk Cousins situation just got a little bit of a new twist to it. Aaron Rodgers was just on Pat McAfee, and he sounded like a man who is very much contemplating retirement. So if Rodgers does not go to the Steelers, one's got to envision Pittsburgh is going to be blowing up Terry Fontenot's cell phone to get Kirk to the Steelers. So Atlanta could have the, ace up their sleeve and the ultimate wild card effect of you're desperate for a quarterback. We have a starting quarterback. Give us a good draft pick, which would be a huge Hail Mary for a team that really only has 3 valuable picks in this draft: a first, a second, and a fourth. They lost their 3rd for Matthew Judon. They lost their 5th for tampering. They lost their 6th for the Van Jefferson trade, and they have 2 7s. But 7s to me are worthless. So Luke and Michael getting a super chat in. We were live on all 3 channels during free agency. We're going to do that all again for the NFL draft, and the competition during free agency blew me away, and I'm excited to see what we can muster up during this kind of mock draft run right now. It's really a mock draft. We're kind of practicing everything for a week from today, but while we're practicing, we thought, why not go live and, make some real picks out of it. So we'll get both those super chats on screen, starting with Luke Roth over on our Browns stream, saying, I would trade the 33rd pick back to get an extra third-round pick. I'm getting more and more confident when I say the Browns are not going to trade back into round 1. I don't think that they view any of the quarterbacks as guys worth an extra pick to acquire. And I don't think the 5th-round option is so valuable to them that they would give up one of their third-round picks. So unless they can go from 33rd to like 32nd and just give up like a 5th or a 6th, I think they're going to stay put at 33. Trade back is possible, but my gut tells me they've got their preference of that kind of second-tier quarterback, and they don't want to mess around and potentially not get that guy. So it may be a reach to some, but I think they're going to use that 33rd overall pick on a QB. Luke, thank you so much for your super chat. Then we got one coming in from our Broncos stream. It is Michael, a $50 super chat, putting the Broncos breakdown in the driver's seat for a little super chat competition between all 3 channels. No prizes, nothing like that today. But Falcons today, the last stream to get on the board for a super chat. Michael, shout out to you. Everyone in our Broncos stream, show the guy some love for putting the Broncos breakdown at number 1 in super chats today. Spam Michael in the chat. Shout out to you, my guy. Appreciate your support of the channel. Hope you're having a good one. What if I just sold out and let the biggest super chat make the pick? What an ultimate... Yeah, no, I'm not selling out. I refuse to sell out. Although I will say if Andrew Berry allowed me to do that or any of these GMs, I'd contribute possibly. I'd put together a bit of a slush fund. You know whose name I'm looking at the chat right now has slid a ton? Tennessee's James Pierce. There are some red flags off the field from a locker room standpoint, and I've seen some mocks where he goes in the middle of round 2. If Atlanta goes, like, say, Will Johnson in round 1, and they could land James Pierce in round 2, that would be borderline highway robbery. If James Pierce's character checks out and he's not some locker room cancer like some high school teammates of his has said he is. So get ready for that. We are 14 minutes away from the start of the draft. I'm just going to reset a little bit here. We are live right now on our Browns, Broncos, and Falcons channels at Chat Sports. I'm the host of all 3 of those channels. So what we're doing is we are doing a Chat Sports 3-round mock draft. Chat Sports does not have a host for all 32 teams. We don't actually even have coverage for all 32. Some of the smaller fan bases, wink, wink, the Jags, the Chargers, they are the last in the pecking order to get a host and a full-time channel devoted to them. So we're going to use the simulator for those teams. But for all the other channels that we do have a full-time host for, we are going to make the picks on behalf of that team. So I will be making the selection for Cleveland, Atlanta, and Denver during our stream today. Appreciate everyone for hanging out with us as we do a mock draft company-wide. I'm excited for it. It should be a blast. DJ Ray and Desire Best with a super chat. We've got 88 people tuned in on our Falcon stream, 78 on our Brown stream, 56 on our Broncos stream. Do me a big favor, click the like button if you haven't already. DJ, you're on screen, dude. What do you think the odds of the Steelers moving up to get Shedeur Sanders at QB instead of Kirk? I don't think they will feel the need to move up. I think they could feel confident that at 21, if Shedeur slips past the Saints at 9, that they may not have to jump up to get him. Now, there's a chance that the Saints take Shedeur at number 9. I think the Steelers would be comfortable with staying put at 21 and not jumping from 21 to 8. If they make that jump, they're giving up a future first-round draft pick and probably a second or third. I based that off when the Bears went from 20 to 11 to get Justin Fields. That cost them a future first and a third. 21 to 8 is a future first and maybe a second. To me, that would be too rich for the Steelers to get Shedeur Sanders in a bit of a panic move, all because they didn't get Aaron Rodgers. Smart organizations don't make those panic moves. The Steelers are a smart organization. DJ, thank you so much for your super chat. We got one coming in from Desire Best on our Broncos stream. All 3 channels with the super chat on the board now. Hey, Petey, did you see the Ashton Genty statement? I have not read the full article. I saw it pop up my phone last night right before I went to sleep, and I was like, oh, I'll read this when I get into work this morning. and then I got into work this morning, and Reed and I hit the ground running, and then I forgot. But I did see how he signed off. One, I love the Players Tribune. I used to love reading those articles. And do you ever have, like, and this could happen with me, possibly with you, a content creator or like a channel that you like binge a lot of their stuff, and then they just fall off your feed because you never actually officially followed them, but the algorithm knew you liked it, so they just kept showing it to you. And then like months go by and you're like, I completely forgot about that channel. That happened to me with Players Tribune. I used to read every article, and then like a year went by, and I was like, wait, I haven't seen a Players Tribune article feed in a long time. But the ending was awesome, right? He was like, this is tackle football. If you want a running back that no one wants to tackle, I'm your guy. That was goosebumps right there. Who they can't tackle, even better. So I think Genty's going to be an awesome player. Listen, in 3 years when we do a redraft for the 2025 NFL draft, Genty's going to go higher than wherever he goes tonight. And he might go today. He might go 6 overall to the Raiders. Who knows? But I promise you that in a redraft, Genty's going to go higher. So do with that information what you will. Mr. G, great to see you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. We are 10 minutes away from round 1 commencing with the Tennessee Titans on the clock. We're going to do a 3-round mock draft. So I'll be making selections for the Browns, Broncos, and Falcons in rounds 1 through 3. Atlanta only having a round 1 and 2 pick. Here are some of the top prospects, though. The Browns are zeroing in on Travis Hunter, but I will remind you, I am doing this mock draft based on what I would do. I am not doing this mock draft based on what I predict will actually happen. And those are two very distinct differences. So just be ready for that. We've got the Browns at number 2, maybe going with Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, as the Titans are locked in on Cam Ward, who, by the way, comes in at number 13 on Brugler's big board. Do you think that's the biggest disparity for the first overall pick and a average big board ranking? If you take Brugler, Kuiper, and say Daniel Jeremiah, and you come together with like a composite big board ranking from all 3 big board wigs, do you think this is the biggest disparity between the number 1 overall pick and where they ranked? Last year, Caleb Williams was number 1 on both. He was everyone's number 1 player, and he was the number 1 pick. In 2023, Bryce Young was top 10 on most big boards. He was like 2nd or 3rd in a lot of cases. Trayvon Walker was high up there. This is good trivia right here. Of course, yeah, this is complete, reflection of the quarterback tax. But this has got to be the first time a player who wasn't top 10 in the composite big board goes first overall. 2021, who was first overall in 2021? Why am I blanking? Line, who? Trevor Lawrence? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Burrow is 2020. Lawrence was 1-1. Burrow was like 1-2. Like, he was like 2nd or 3rd. Yeah, some people were not right. 19 was Kyler. He was up there. Baker was like 5, I feel like. Not everyone had Baker as the number 1 player. We got a couple of super chats flying in over on our Browns channel. We are not doing mock drafts. Great question. There will be no mock draft. My boss just said this is kind of like a test trial for the actual draft next week. And so to keep it simple in the first year of doing this, no trades allowed. Trades would be a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. I would be blowing up people's phones. I mean, why not? You get to be a GM for a day. I'm not going to sit back and go, you know what? I'm comfortable at 20. No. I'd see if I could move up to get Genty for the Broncos. Absolutely. He's him. Okay. We're getting biblical right now. But I feel like he's him is just watching Righteous Gemstones. Or maybe, you know what movie I watched last night? I only watched half of it because my fiance got bored like a quarter of the way through. We watched, I rewatched The Da Vinci Code. You ever watch The Da Vinci Code? I feel like he's him. It's like the blonde guy in that dude. If you know what I'm talking about, zoinks. Joshua, 2 things about Travis Hunter. If he gets injured, may need to replace him with 2 players taking up an extra spot on the 53rd. The second is, if there is a team to screw up Hunter pick as a wide receiver corner, it's the Browns. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're definitely right about the injury part. you are, right, doubling his chance of getting injured. If he's playing twice the amount of snaps than he would have if it being one way, that's twice the amount of opportunities to get injured. So you're right on that mark. As for if there's a team that screws up Travis Hunter, it's the Browns. I disagree with that because I think the team that would screw up Travis Hunter would be a team that doesn't allow him to play both ways. And the Browns said they are comfortable with letting him play both ways. So I feel like a Travis Hunter screw-up would be a team that goes, yeah, we only view you as a receiver. Well, Travis Hunter as just a receiver, I don't think is worth a second or third overall pick. But if you can get both players, both versions out of him, the Jekyll and Hyde, which one was better? Whichever the better one between Jekyll and Hyde was, if you can get double the Jekyll or double the Hyde, then you're maximizing the second overall pick. Josh, I hear what you're saying, though, altogether. Really appreciate your super chat, though. Are we all caught up on supers? Oh, we got some news? Oh, the Cowboys signed someone. I don't know who. Who did the Cowboys sign? I think it's some nobody. Oh, talking about bad timing. George and Sean Payton are doing their Zoom press conference right now before the draft. So we picked a great time for this one. All right. We are 5 minutes away. So another super chat coming in from He's Him. Very personal one, too. And then we got one on our Broncos channel. Coach Chris, appreciate it. Jafia Sports. So then why name it mock draft? I'm confused. You lost me. I don't know if you're talking about something else in the chat. I do try and keep up with the chat as closely as possible. Coach, one more week, and we will see what we do. On one hand, I hope we make a splash in all of this. Anticipation isn't for nothing. Love the show. Trade up or stick at 20, either running back or wide receiver at this spot. I'm not a big fan of the receiver class in general, and I don't think receiver is as big of a need for the Broncos as some people maybe like yourself do. Running back is a priority for me, though, for Denver at number 20. Spoiler. Coach, shout out to you. Everyone show Chris some love in the chat for supporting the channel. Thank you so much, Coach Chris. What's the actor's name from The Big Lebowski? Someone help me out here. Because like the picture on the monitor is way smaller for me. And then we got another super chat coming in. These selections are going to start in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. You want to get the timer up when you get the opportunity? He's Him sent a super chat in right after Joshua Miller did. No, not the Jesus one. The next one. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, put it back. Oh, you stuck that on screen? Oh, I didn't even notice that. I'm too busy locked in on the camera. He's Him. We'll throw it back on screen because I never even... Was I talking about something else? I got distracted. Yeah, I'm not going to answer this question. How about this? I'll make a fair deal. You could super chat an amount, and I'll do over or under. That I feel like is a fair compromise. If you want to throw in an amount, you get one guess at it because I'm not going to go back and forth. I'll just do base salary. Josh, is it harder to wait for Christmas or the draft? Definitely the draft. And I'll tell you why. Because in October, I'm not thinking Christmas. In January, I'm thinking draft. I've always said, not always, I've always said a couple of like, if I were in charge of a team, what I would do. One, I would always take the points in the first half. Two, I'd always lean best player available with a few caveats. Like if there's a quarterback, but you already have one, don't do quarterback. And three, I would, as an owner, as a billionaire, hire 2 scouts, have some friends, ship them to like St. Helena, where Napoleon died, throw them in the middle of the Atlantic, somewhere in the Pacific, ship them out there the day after the college football playoff ends. Bring them back the day before the NFL draft. Cut them off from complete communication with the rest of the world. They can talk to their families, but they can't see a single mock draft. They can't know anything about the combine, none of that. And I want them to come back and tell us what they think of prospects fresh coming out of the college football season. Because I fear that we far too often let pre-draft meetings and combines and silly little videos of guys running in their underwear at Lucas Oil taint our memory of what we saw in them in September and October and November when they were actually playing football. Okay. Coach Chris with another super chat. Yeah. You want to throw Chris's on really quickly, and then we're going head first into this mock draft with the Titans on the clock first. By the way, I'm going to find out the picks when you do, when they get on screen. So I won't be, 10 seconds ahead. As soon as it's on screen, I'm letting you, we're going to find out together. Coach, $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Let's pump up these super chats. Keep the lights on for these guys. Go Broncos. Coach Chris and Michael putting the Broncos breakdown in first place in super chats with $122. Thank you guys for your support of the channel. Salute to all of you. All right, he's him. We'll get to your super chat at the first break because we're about to start the draft. So I promise we will get to it. Here we go. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock. Wait. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go. The pick is in for the Tennessee Titans, and then the Browns are on the clock. We are awaiting the pick. It is in. Goodell is going to walk to the podium, and then the Browns are on the clock. Come on. Who's it going to be, as if we don't already know? But we'll make it official. This is also Reed's first time doing. Yeah. Hold up. Wait a minute. Come on. All right. This is why it's a test run for all of us. I just sent in my pick for the Browns. You got this. Come on. We're just having some technical difficulties, but that's why we're doing it today. Yeah, the pick is Travis Hunter, so that was pretty anticlimactic. You figure out the best way to display the picks that they come in. That's your task for the next one. But I have submitted the pick for the Browns. I know. I wanted to keep it a secret. All right. Awaiting the Browns pick to be announced. But the first overall pick, no surprise, is Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. Yeah, you can do that one. But you just figure out whatever one you want to do and just do that. All right. Sorry for the turbulence. You got it. With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans have not surprised anyone and selected Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. With the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, on behalf of the Cleveland Browns, I have selected Travis Hunter. I made this pick based on what I would do, and I have completely turned around on the Hunter versus Carter debate at number 2, and I feel that Travis Hunter is just too special and dynamic of a player to pass on. There are some risks, there are some concerns, there is no doubt, but picking number 2, I am willing to take the opportunity on Hunter and pass on Carter, given that you already have a future Hall of Famer at defensive end with Myles Garrett. And I think if Hunter and Carter both have terrific careers, it is best for the Browns to have Travis Hunter instead of Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett. So I am drunk on the Travis Hunter Kool-Aid. He's going to be a receiver first for the team and then a little bit of corner on the side as well. But I feel that Travis Hunter to the Browns is not only something that's going to happen, it is something that I am excited to see happen because these are just generational and truly unicorn type prospect in Hunter that I felt was just too good to pass on. Whereas Abdul Carter, I think, is going to be an outstanding defensive end. I do feel that we get Abdul Carters, not like every single year in the draft, but every so often. And I was willing to take the risk on the potential downside of a Hunter pick, given the, uniqueness of playing both ways in the National Football League, the injury concerns of being on offense and defense, the difficulty to take on an offensive and defensive playbook. But I'm in. Travis Hunter, you are a Cleveland Brown. That is the pick I made for the Browns at number 2. Yep, who did the Giants take? At pick number 3, the New York Giants select Abdul Carter, defensive end out of Penn State. So they put together one of the most ferocious pass rushes in football. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, and now Kayvon Thibodeau in the mix with that as well. It will be something Jalen Hurts and the rest of the NFC East do not want to go up against. So we go Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, and then Abdul Carter, top 3, which I expect it to look like that once the draft really gets underway a week from today. Welcome on into a Chat Sports 3-round NFL mock draft, where hosts of all the different teams we have here covered at Chat Sports are making picks on behalf of their teams. So I am making the selections today for the Browns, the Broncos, and the Falcons. Right now at number 4, it is the New England Patriots on the clock. So we'll get that. Let's see it. Yeah, as soon as a pick comes in. And the Patriots are going with Will Campbell, LSU offensive tackle. I think this is the right pick for New England, almost regardless of whether or not Abdul Carter or Hunter is available, just because of how huge of a need the Patriots offensive line is. You got to keep Drake May healthy. You have invested in the defense throughout all of free agency. I think this is the likely pick, and I think it's the right pick for New England as well. We have a couple of super chats to catch up on, which we will get to in a moment. But at number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars have selected Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. Trevor Lawrence will have a new tight end to replace Evan Ingram and work with. And this, to me, seems like a nice, safe pick for the Jags. I know Mason Graham has been mocked to Jacksonville a ton. That would not have been a bad pick, but they've got Josh Hines Allen, and Trayvon Walker already on that defensive line. Why not give Trevor Lawrence another weapon to work with? I think this is a good pick for the Jags as well. So we've got some super chats here as I just update my board a little bit and start crossing off names. Josh, can you trade back in this draft? No trades allowed in this Chat Sports NFL mock draft spectacular. I know, a little disappointing, but those are just the rules for the first ever Chat Sports mock draft. Josh, thank you so much for your super chat. Let's catch up on some more here as the number 16 Raiders are on the clock. We'll see what selection Mitchell Renz makes for Las Vegas. We got some more. All right, that's fine. We'll just catch up on all the super chats right now. $50K with company car and stock options. I have no company car and I have no stock options, but I did say I would say over or under. It is over. He's him. Appreciate your super chat. And the pick is in for the Las Vegas Raiders. At 6, the Raiders are going to go with, drum roll please. Bad drum roll. Come on, computer. Come on. I'm blue balling everyone right now. Trades would have been fun. There it is. And then rotate this a little bit more. Just put something else there. Ashton Genty is the 6th overall pick going to the Las Vegas Raiders. So far, I feel like this mock draft has been somewhat chalk for what a lot of people expect to happen. The Jags Warren selection at 5 was a little bit of a surprise. Mason Graham falling all the way to 7 potentially. We'll see where he ends up, but I think this is going to be a great pick for Las Vegas as long as they can put together a halfway decent offensive line. The Raiders' run game has been the worst in the National Football League the last 2 years. So they just got to put together a little bit of a better offensive line, and I think Genty is going to be an awesome NFL back. The 7th pick is in, and it is Mizzou right tackle Armand Membou. So he is one of the best pure athletes on the offensive line in this class. He's a ferocious pass protector. He's a tenacious run blocker. He is what a lot of people look for in your prototypical right tackle. And the Jets, I feel like, need to find a way to invest in that offensive line, which they've done. I'll backtrack and say make good investments. They've made attempts, but a lot of them have not worked out. So in this pick, they go offensive line back-to-back years. Then at 8, the Carolina Panthers select Mason Graham, pair him with Derek Brown, and add to that defensive line. So Graham falls all the way to 8, and we're starting to see, some of the big-name prospects go off the board here. Yeah. The Saints are on the clock. This is where I feel like the draft could go any different direction. Yep, after the Saints pick, we'll do a quick recap on what's happened so far for the first third of round 1. What do you think they're going to do here at 9? I think, again, this is what Trace Gerard, our Saints host, is going to do. I think Trace is going to go with Shedeur Sanders. Oh, before he picks? Okay. I think Trace is going to go with Shedeur Sanders at 9. He has coined the phrase Shedorlins, which I'll give him credit for. It's very catchy. But the Saints need, I think, a reset at quarterback. And if they feel like Shedeur's their guy, then go out and get him. But I don't feel like he is the guy for a top 10 pick, personally. I don't think he's a round 1 prospect to begin with. Here are the picks, and then make sure we don't lose sight of game time as well. First overall was Cam Ward, as expected, to the Tennessee Titans. Then Matthew Peterson, on behalf of the Browns Report by Chat Sports, selected Travis Hunter, DB, wide receiver out of Colorado. Then Marshall Green from Giants Now went with Abdul Carter. Will Campbell has a new home in New England thanks to Allie Barefoot. The Jags do not have a channel at Chat Sports, so the mock draft simulator selected Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Mitch from the Raiders Report went with Ashton Genty, followed by Patrick Seaman made the pick for the Jets at 7. Armand Membou to beef up that offensive line for Justin Fields. Then the computer for the Panthers took Mason Graham, Michigan defensive tackle. And now we await the pick at number 9 for the New Orleans Saints. While we wait for that pick to come in, quick shout out to our sponsor today, which is Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. So if you want to go see a Nuggets game, a Cavs game, a Braves game, or any other sporting event in your area, make sure you check out Game Time first. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Check out Game Time today and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So we are all caught up on picks 1 through 8. Now we await the Saints selection at pick number 9. Quick plug here. Click the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Help us continue to grow here at Chat Sports. So if you want free NFL draft coverage, at least subscribe for this week, because I'm going to be putting out at least 1, probably 2 videos a day from now until next Monday. So if you don't like the content after that, then you can unsubscribe. But do imminent future you a favor and subscribe right now. So here are the picks. And one more time, for anyone just tuning in, we are doing a company-wide 3-round mock draft. I'm making the picks for the 3 teams I cover at Chat Sports: Browns, Broncos, Falcons. So I'll be on the clock when all those 3 teams are on the clock themselves, and I'll make the selections for them. The Saints are on the clock right now, though, and we are TriCasting on 3 different channels here. So Browns report, Broncos breakdown, Falcons today, all getting the same feed. There it is. With the 9th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Shedeur Sanders goes to New Orleans. So Trace Gerard, host of Saints Now, makes it happen. He has manifested this for weeks. Shedeur Orleans is a reality. And we have our first big headline of the draft: Shedeur going 9th overall to the Big Easy. All right, now the Bears are on the clock at number 10. What does Harrison Graham from Bears Now want to do? Falcons fans should keep an eye on this because this is a very real situation. If Genty and Warren are gone, which are the 2 kind of heavy favorites to go to the Bears in a way, then they might go to the defensive line. Show me. With the 10th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Bears select Mike Green. Mike Green goes to Chicago at 10, and now the Falcons have to scramble the Jets. That is who Harrison took. I know that was a very popular pick for Falcons fans at 15. Here are some of the best players available: Jalen Walker, Shamir Stewart, Colston Loveland, Jahad Campbell, Will Johnson. Those are some notable names to watch for. Eamon K, you're damn right. So 11 is the 49ers. I think they might go Will Johnson. I don't know. I'm not looking. I find out when you guys find out when it gets put on screen. What does San Francisco do at 11 now? Mike Green, though, this is a very real possibility. I think the Bears' priority list is Ashton Genty, then Tyler Warren, then Will Campbell. If all 3 of those guys go before 10, edge rusher is the next biggest need for them. So I could see them going with Mike Green at 10. We got to find a way to get these filled in with the picks. Okay. Got it. So here's what we got coming up: 49ers, Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts, and then Atlanta at 15. The pick is in for the 49ers at 11. Don't be Will Johnson. Don't be Will Johnson. Don't be Will Johnson. Don't be Will Johnson. Let me know when it's on screen. What did the 49ers do at 11? Yep. Jalen Walker. Okay. I would have liked him for the Falcons at 15. That's a great best player available type of pick by San Francisco. That's going to help replace Dre Greenlaw. So great pick in my opinion by the Niners at 11. They go with the Georgia. I don't want to call him an edge. I want to call him a linebacker who can rush the passer as well. I think he's just a great football player. I think he is a chess piece on the field, and you can use him in a handful of spots. So Walker is at 11. The Cowboys at 12 go with, my eyes are closed, what does Dallas do? Here we go. The Cowboys at 12. Don't take Omarion Hampton. Don't take Omarion Hampton. Don't take Omarion Hampton. Is it on screen? Come on. Don't take Hampton. Don't take Hampton. Don't take Will Johnson or Hampton. I need Johnson for Atlanta. I want Hampton for the Broncos. Tet McMillan. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not very high on Tet McMillan. He goes to the Cowboys at 12. Perfectly fine with that. So McMillan's off the board. Dolphins are on the clock. Can you find a best player available graphic? Yeah. Show the top guys remaining. All right. So the Dolphins at 13. I could see Roley going with Will Johnson to replace Jalen Ramsey. Come on. Don't do it, Roley. We'll look at who the best players available are. That's all right. We have Tet McMillan. All right, let's just go to the pick and then show best players available. Fuck! Will Johnson to Miami at 13. Falcons are on in 2. They're 15. Let's see who the best players available are. Who do we have to pick from remaining? Not going to lie, this is a nightmare draft for Atlanta. My top 3 targets for them are gone. Mike Green, Jalen Walker, and Will Campbell. 2 of those were kind of reaches in Walker and Campbell. Green, I felt like had a good chance of being there. Here are the best available players right now. Damn. Colts are on the clock at 14. They're going to go with Colston Loveland. What do we want to do, boys and girls? This is tough. I was not expecting to have this bad of a fall. Damn, that one sucks. Okay. The pick is in for Indianapolis. They went with Jahad Campbell. So, here are the top guys remaining. Shamir Stewart, Colston Loveland, Matthew Golden, Derek Harmon. What do we want to do? Oh, this is tough. Okay. I'm going to make my pick right now. Here it comes. I'm not. Here we go. It's in. Pick is in for the Falcons. I just want to say this has not gone well for Atlanta. I was about to go with Jahad Campbell, to be honest. It's a little bit of a surprise pick. Let's do the big L3 for 15. Yeah. With the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, for the Atlanta Falcons, I selected Nick Emanwari, safety out of South Carolina. I was not comfortable with reaching on, I felt like Mykel Williams or Shamir Stewart or James Pierce. It's a very deep edge class, and I felt that Emanwari, Jesse Bates, and A.J. Terrell could put together the best secondary in the National Football League, and I can still find a good pass rusher in round number 2. Don't get me wrong, I'm not doing somersaults and backflips over this pick. I love Emanwari as a prospect. He is a very rare size and speed type of guy. 6'3", 220, and he ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. He is one of the best pure, pound-for-pound athletes in this class. But at the end of the day, I just didn't want to reach on an edge rusher, and I felt that if we're going to stay true to our word and go with a best player available mentality, Nick Emanwari in this situation, I just didn't want to pass on. I was really torn between Emanwari and Malachi Starks. I felt like Emanwari would complement Jesse Bates a little bit better. Both of them have great ball skills, but Emanwari's just got some traditional ball instincts when it comes to having a nose for the football. Listen, this is a pick that I know is going to be a little controversial, and I hear it, I understand it, but at the end of the day, I just did not want to reach on someone, so I went with Emanwari, and I'm excited to see what he can bring to the secondary, and I know I have a lot of work to do in round 2 to make sure I add a pass rusher, but for the time being, I feel that the combination of safety in round 1 and then edge in round 2 is going to get a better defense on the field than a reach in round 1 and then who knows in round 2. So Nick Emanwari is an Atlanta Falcon. Boo me, the tomatoes are coming in the chat. At least understand that my top 5 guys were all taken before me. I wanted Mike Green, he goes to the Bears at 10. I wanted Jalen Walker, he goes to the 49ers at 11. I wanted Will Johnson, he goes to the Dolphins at 13. I wanted Jahad Campbell even. He goes to the Colts at 14. I had to adjust, and I felt that Emanwari would be a better pure football player when his career is said and done than any of the edge rushers available at that point. People are mad. Petey Fontenot. I like that. They're calling me Petey Fontenot. What would you guys have done? What would you have done? Let me know. Denver is next up at 20. Do we have 16 yet? Let's see who went in 16. Petey Fontenot. That's hysterical. With the 16th pick, I believe it is the Cincinnati Bengals. No. Oh, the Cardinals. I wanted him in round 2. All right, that one stings, I'm not going to lie. And then at 17, the Bengals went with Jahdae Barron. Okay. 1 second, I'm catching up on my big board here. Okay. The Seahawks at 18 went with Colston Loveland. That would have been fun. And then Shamir Stewart goes to the Bucs at 19. The Broncos are on the clock at 20. Show them best available. So Walter Nolan's an option for Denver. You've got Michael Williams still. I have submitted the Broncos pick at number 20. The pick is in for Denver. We got 3 rounds of this, so buckle up. We're going to catch up on Supers in a minute here. But with the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, on behalf of the Denver Broncos, I have selected Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. The drought at the running back position for Denver ends now. They go out and get a 3-down running back with pass rush protection upside, receiving skills, and he's got incredible size and speed. 220 pounds, and he moves like a bullet. Omarion Hampton is going to finally stabilize that running back room for the Broncos and provide some much-needed assistance offensively for young, ascending Bo Nix. He comes off back-to-back seasons, averaging nearly 6 yards a pop and 15 touchdowns. There were concerns that he would not be as effective without Drake May under center, drawing all the attention in 2023. Not a problem in 2024. George Paton goes back to the UNC running back well, and they get their guy, Omarion Hampton, who can lead this running back room and finally get this team a 1,000-yard rusher on the ground. And how about this? Get this team a 100-yard rusher in a game for the first time since Latavius Murray 3 years ago. I love this pick for the Broncos. I'm very happy he was available at number 20. He is now my, really in like pure reality, number 1 target for Denver at 20. I don't expect Ashton Genty or Tyler Warren to be there. And between Loveland and Hampton, I'm leaning towards Omarion Hampton right now. So that's the pick I made. Give me your grade in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. Petey Fontenot is still hearing it right now from the Falcons Today chat. The Browns went with Travis Hunter at pick number 2, but they will be on the clock soon at pick number 33. So let me know A, B, C, D, or F for this selection right here. I like it a lot. Obviously, I like it. I made it. But to me, this is a dream pick for the Broncos. Don't overthink it. Go get a running back that in last year's class would have been the number 1 back by a country mile. Austin Raines, Matthew Fontenot. I deserve it. If you're going to call me Matthew Fontenot, just tell me who. At least I didn't take a wide receiver. Tell me who you would have picked instead. With the 21st pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers went with Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle from Oregon. Austin, I do appreciate the super chat. At 22, the Chargers have a reunion between Harbaugh and Kenneth Grant, the Michigan defensive tackle. So, Green Bay's on the clock. The Browns are next up at 33. Let's catch up on some more super chats. I think there are a few more while we're waiting for the Packers selection. I will say it came down between Nicky Manwari and Walter Nolan. Florian, do you think we could have gone differently if not for the Russell Wilson contract debacle? We would have gone different. Like, Florian, elaborate. You mean Denver's, like, trajectory? Or you mean, like, in the draft? Fill me in a little bit on the gaps here, Florian. But I really appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Is that all the super chats? Okay, sweet. The Packers, with the 23rd pick, select Luther Burden. Good. I'm not very high on Burden as a prospect. I think he's more of a round 2 guy that is just going to get round 1 talk because of the lack of receiver depth in this class. I don't think he's going to have this huge NFL career. Seeps left? I know, but I thought you left tonight. Okay. Luther Burden going to the Packers for Jordan Love. Be the first time in a while they took a receiver in round 1. I can't remember the last time they did that. So let's look at the best players available. No, best players available real quick. Yeah. Best available. This is a stretch, but if the Falcons get one of these 2 guys in round 2, I think then Petey Foncho will be cooking a little bit. Here are some. Let's go through the other kind of. Yeah. Yep. I like Golden of all the receivers. All right. Oh, the pick is in for the Vikings. It is Malachi Starks. Malachi Starks goes to Minnesota at 24. The Texans are on the clock. He's going to take Donovan Jackson. I'll tell you right now. Yeah. Jeremy or Josh Simmons. He's going to take one of those 2 Buckeye offensive linemen. Malachi Starks, I was in between him and Emanwari. That's obviously a pick where you can either have Justin Jefferson or Jalen Reagor looking back. They're 2 really good safeties that are very even in rankings, but I went with Emanwari. I just did not want to reach on an edge rusher, and I felt that there were deep enough edges to get in round 2. And it's also important to note that I would not have gone with Emanwari if any of my 5 preferred players were available at 15. Will Johnson was gone. Jalen Walker was gone. Mike Green was gone. Jahad Campbell was gone. Maybe just those 4 then. But I'm sorry. Right now, Fontenot is watching this in his office. He's like, one of us. The Browns are up next. They are going to be the 33rd overall pick. All right, don't look. All right, the Texans have a wild pick at 25. I bet he went wide receiver. I bet he went Emeka Egbuka to reunite C.J. Stroud with Emeka Egbuka. I'm guessing he did that. What do the Texans do at 25? Browns, get ready. You're 33. What did Jeremy Chuggs do for Houston at 25? Come on. Yep. Oh, nah. I didn't see it. I just see Malachi Stark still. Come on. It's loading. Who is it? Come on. This is the biggest tease in the world. What's the pick? Well, fucking get it on screen. What do you mean you can't? Well, oh, my God, Tex. Come on. It's Matthew Golden. Here's the pick for Houston, Matthew Golden. I think he's the best receiver in this class. I think it's a very good pick by Houston. He's also from Houston area, so a nice homecoming for him. Matthew Golden going to the Texans. Archangel, I hear you, dude. And that's why I want to go Mike Green. I want to go Jalen Walker at 15. The Rams go with Kelvin Banks at 26. Offensive lineman from Texas. Bad pick. And now the Ravens are on, I believe, at 27. Who do the Ravens select at 27? Yep. Then the Lions, Commanders, and Bills afterwards. I could see Baltimore going pass rusher. Yep. With the 27th pick, the Baltimore Ravens select. Come on. James Pierce, edge rusher out of Tennessee. Joey Peterson, who runs our Ravens channel, also a volunteer, went with the UT edge rusher. For the Browns at 2, I took Travis Hunter. For the Falcons at 15, I took Nicky Manwari. That's a gamble. I am banking on getting a good edge rusher in round 2. I promise I will not ignore it then. And then for the Broncos at 20, I took Omarion Hampton. I'm not going to lie. I don't love my Nicky Manwari pick for the Falcons, but I didn't know what would be a better one. Yep, 28, the Detroit Lions. Damn it! Hoping he'd fall more. Walter Nolan. It's a good pick. If I can get Mykel Williams in round 2, are you guys going to back off me? That'd be... He's going to take Mykel Williams. Who took Shamir Stewart again? Oh, the Bucks did. That's a very Bucks pick. Rizwan, I understand the argument of why not go DT over safety. It's because it's a very deep defensive line class. And I think the guy you can get in round 2 at that position is not very far off from the guy you get at round 1 in that position. I think the way I look at it is I'm getting an A safety and an A minus defensive tackle. Whereas I could have gotten an A defensive tackle and a B any other position. I look at it as I got 2 A grades because I know I'm going defensive line around 2, and thankfully it's a very deep defensive line class. That's the gamble I'm making here. For the Browns, I'll tell you what. Actually, I won't tell you what. Cleveland's coming up soon, though. They are at pick 33. Right now, we're waiting on the Commanders at 29 for their selection. You got to do a auto push for the... Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, okay. 29th pick is in from the Washington Commanders. Close my eyes. Tell me when to actually close it. All right. Oh, of course. Sperry has major smartest guy in the room syndrome. I think Jaden Higgins is a good receiver, but not surprised that he went with an outside-the-box pick right here for Washington. So the wide receiver 6, according to Dane Brugler, goes in round 1 to Jaden Daniels with Jaden Higgins. Jaden to Jaden, that would be kind of fun. Mykel Williams. If I could trade up, I would be trading up to get Mykel Williams right now. By the way, I am making these picks based on what Petey the GM would do, not what I predict. If I were predicting, I would do something very different. So far, I wouldn't do anything different, actually, based on what I predict. But in round 2, definitely. Petey Fontenot, more like Petey Dimitrov. I respect it. I really do. You guys should give me hell. I deserve it. But if I had Johnny Cochran standing next to me right now, he'd tell you he would have gone with Mike Green or Jalen Walker or Will Johnson if they were there. Mike Green going to 10 was a big, caber toss to the nuts. The Browns are coming up soon. They're at pick 33. Well, who do we know who the Bills selected? Okay. Okay. Waiting for the Buffalo Bills selection at 30. I got to figure out what to do for the Browns at 33 right now. No. What do I want to do for the Browns at 33? I've got my name in mind. If he's there, that's what I'm going to do. I've got my target for the Browns at 33 in my sights. You guys can try and predict who I'm going to pick. All right, I'm closing my eyes. This is for the Bills at 30. All right. Ooh. Trey Amos to replace Kaiir Elam, and a little bit too late to replace Tre'Davious White. So, solid selection for Buffalo. I like that. All right. Chiefs pick at 31 is in. Let's see who Kansas City selected. And the Browns are 2 picks away. I think we will have a little break between. Yeah, I'm listening. Okay. Yeah. All right. I hear you. Oh, geez, Teach. Oof. Yeah, let's see them. Who did Kansas City? Who did Teacher take? I bet Teacher took. There's no Kansas player. I'm gonna say he took. I'm gonna say Ariante Ursay, Minnesota tackle. Nope, different offensive lineman. Gray Zabel. They retained Trey Smith. This is probably a replacement for like Creed Humphrey. Not Creed Humphrey. What's his face? The left guard. So Gray Zabel goes from North Dakota State, just a little bit south, down to Kansas City. Joe Tooney. Eagles are on the clock, and then the Browns are next. We'll have a little bit of a tea break. I think we got to do a sponsor read during that tea break. Yeah, that's what I thought. Are people still mad at me? Let's get Jonathan's super chat on screen. I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm going to do for Browns at 33. I'm going to keep it a surprise. But I've got my name in the holster, and as long as the Eagles don't take that person, I will be selecting that player. No! The Eagles definitely just took Mykel Williams. They need a new edge rusher. It kind of made sense. And they love Georgia players. Mykel Williams definitely just went to the Eagles. That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it would have been. I'm guessing there. Yep, here it is. Mykel Williams. Mykel Williams to Philly to close out round 1. Damn. All right. Browns are on the clock. I'm going to take a moment to send my pick in. Should we do a quick sponsor read? All right. Round 2 is going to begin in 6 minutes. The GM of Chat Sports just said it'll begin at 3:05 p.m. Eastern. So let me tell you about game time, and then we'll kind of recap the first round for a second. All right. First things first, though. Shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time has so many awesome deals that make getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. If you want to go to a Nuggets game, a Cavs game, a Braves game, or any other sporting event in your area, make sure you visit Game Time first. Last-minute deals at Game Time help you save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Let's recap round one. Let's go through the picks, and I'll give my thoughts on a few of them in more detail than others. And then we'll recap some super chats. So, no surprise, Cam Ward. Again, this is a mock draft with each chat sports host making the pick for what they would do, not what they expect the team to do. And so I want the Browns at this point to go with Travis Hunter. I know it's a bit of a risk, the injury concern of playing two ways, if he can even play two ways in the NFL. Like, those are fair concerns to have, and I have them. Don't get me wrong. But picking second overall with a unicorn like Travis Hunter in this draft, I fear that you would regret passing on Hunter way more than passing on Abdul Carter. I don't think Abdul Carter is the next Myles Garrett, right? Just this unbelievable Von Miller-type pass rusher who's a guaranteed Hall of Famer. I feel like Travis Hunter is worth the risk. So I'm taking one, but I'm going to live on the wild side here. Abdul Carter and Will Campbell follow suit, not a big surprise. Then we've got our first kind of surprise, Tyler Warren to the Jags at number 5. Then Ashton Genty is off to Las Vegas. That's kind of expected. Armand Membu goes to the Jets at 7 to protect Justin Fields. Mason Graham falls to the Panthers at 8. This is where things went downhill for Atlanta. For a while, they was looking good, right? Mike Green to the Bears at 10. Fuck. Jalen Walker. Fuck. Ted McMillan, that's fine. We don't care about him. And then at 13, you're like, can I get Will Campbell? We're so close. Give me Will Campbell. And then at 13, Will Campbell. All right. How about Jahad Campbell? I say Will Johnson. How about Jahad Campbell? He goes to the Colts. So this is where I was faced with a tough decision. In my opinion, I think Nicky Manwari is better than the edge rushers that go in the remaining first-round selections. So, yeah, I'm Terry Fontenot. I did not go pass rusher in round 1. It probably won't happen, but if those guys go before Atlanta at 15, we might see a surprise pick. So, I made a questionable selection, and I think that if I nail the second-round pick, I'm going to get off the hook as long as Eamon has an awesome career. And Bates, Eamon and Terrell would be a very fun secondary. I'm not going to try and pass this off as I love the pick. Even if Nick was in the same room as me right now, I'd say I'm a little skeptical. But I didn't want to reach on some other guys. So there I am, Terry Fontenot. Amari Hampton to the Broncos at 20. I love this pick for Denver. As long as I felt like the Cowboys didn't go running back, I felt confident that Hampton could be there at 20. So I like this pick a lot for Denver. I just think he's going to solidify that running back room for hopefully the next 6 years. We've got Harmon, Kenneth Grant going after that on the defensive line. Luther Burden. I was really in between Malachi Starks and Nicky Manwari. I felt like Jesse Bates reminds me a lot of Malachi Starks. And it's not bad to have two Jesse Bateses, but if you could get like a big presence at safety like Manwari and Jesse Bates with his ball skills, that's going to be an incredible safety tandem for years to come. Then we got Matthew Golden to the Texans. James Pierce and Walter Nolan towards the end of round 1. Those guys definitely were in consideration for pick 15. And Jaden Higgins, a surprise late first-round pick by the Commanders. And unfortunately, Mykel Williams could not slip to round 2 for Atlanta. He concludes the first round. So the Browns are on the pick at 33. Let me know who your sleeper is in this draft. Who is the guy that you think could sneak into round 1 or go round 2 and be viewed as, wow, how did he fall in the draft that much? Let me know your sleeper so I can do some homework on this guy during the weekend. Round 2 begins in 1 minute. The Browns are on the clock. I've got my pick in mind already. I'm not going to say. Browns chat, who do you want me to pick at 15? Oh, sorry, at 15, at 33. Let me know. Mr. G says Jackson Dart. Who should the Browns pick at 33 to start round 2? I've got my name. I've got my name to the point where I've already crossed him off on my big board. The pick is in for me. In my head. I'm not sent it in just yet. Yep. Oh my goodness. Michael with a $100 super chat from the Broncos breakdown. Everyone spam Michael in the chat. Holy cow. Unbelievable. We're going to get that super chat on screen. I think we had another one as well we'll get to in a moment. 2 super chats, but Michael Ronquillo, a $100 super chat. Shout out to you, Michael. Thank you so much, my man. Thanks, Matthew Peterson, for your dedication covering the Denver Broncos for Broncos Country. Go Bo Broncos. Michael, thank you for showing so much love and support to the channel. Everyone show Michael some love in the chat right now. You're a real one, dude. Shout out to you. Unbelievable. All right, the Browns are on the clock. I'm sending the pick in. I'm going to make him wait like 30 seconds. Yep. I'm going to take my time a little bit. We had one more super chat we'll throw on in just a moment here. Michael, thank you so much. Time man, we'll catch you later, buddy. Yeah, show the other super chat. I'm going to use my minute. Jonathan, let's go, fat boy. 33, Mykel Williams, swagger number 1. Mykel Williams goes right before the Browns at 32. I'm about to hit enter on the Browns pick. Are we ready? Here it is. I have sent it in. The pick for the Browns has been submitted. I will once again remind you, I am doing this mock draft based on what I would do if I was the GM. This pick, I do not expect the Browns to make, but I'm going to do this mock draft how I would do it. So I can always come back to this and see if I was a really good or bad GM. Wow. Yep. Reed is shocked right now. Here it is. Kaleb Johnson, Iowa running back to open up round 2. I feel that the Browns need to find their running back of the future. This is a great draft class to do it. And I know quarterback is a need, but you know what? I don't really like the quarterbacks in this class. So I'm not going to burn a valuable 33rd overall pick on a reach. No, instead, I'm going to go out and get, unfortunately, what I think is going to be the next Nick Chubb for this team, which is not a bad thing, but it sucks that we have to say that part out loud. So, yeah, give me the Hamilton, Ohio native. The guy who's 6'1", 224. He's got great burst at the line of scrimmage. He may not have the elusive top-end speed, but, man, does he seek contact. He seeks violence. He runs people over for a living. He averaged over 6 yards a carry, 21 touchdowns in his lone season as a starting running back for the Hawkeyes. What I like the most about Johnson is the way he persevered last year. He's an explosive back in an Iowa offense that ran the ball more than almost any other team did. And the defense knew that. Hawkeyes offense last year ranked 130th out of 134 FBS teams in pass attempts. Everyone knew in the stadium where the ball was going, and he still turned out over 6 yards a carry. I think this guy has some Nick Chubb, David Montgomery shades to his game, and I want to see the Browns get back to running the ball effectively and well. So I'm going to go with my number 2, my number 3 back in this class to open up round 2. Give me Kaleb Johnson. Give me a guy that can move the chains for whoever's playing quarterback, because the tough pill that I think a lot of people need to swallow is the Browns' quarterback solution is not in this year's draft. So I'm not going to waste a valuable pick. I've got a quarterback in mind for later. We'll see if I can get him, but that's the pick for me at 33. Kaleb Johnson. Whew. Let's go. Now we wait for pick 34, which is going to be the New York Giants. Let's see if Marshall Green from Giants Now takes a quarterback. I don't like Jalen Milroe. I don't even really like Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck. No, not at 33. Yep. Emeka Egbuka going to the Big Apple. The Ohio State, historic receiver is off to the Giants to work with Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. I like this pick. I think Egbuka's going to have a good NFL career. He was I felt like, underappreciated while at Ohio State. Maybe Buckeye fans will push back on that, but whenever you think of receivers from OSU recently, it's Marvin Harrison, it's Chris Olave, it's Garrett Wilson. Egbuka was right there with all of them. I think he's going to be an outstanding receiver at the next level. So to recap what the Browns have done so far, Travis Hunter and Kaleb Johnson. I just got 2 playmakers for this team. I got a guy that can play on offense and a guy that can play on defense. Now I got a new running back to finally get the Browns' ground game back on track, because it has been off track since week 2 of 2023. Get that ground game where it was for so long. Kevin Stefanski's back in charge of the offense. They want to run the ball. Let's get a new brand new workhorse back for him. And with the 35th pick in the draft, the Tennessee Titans have selected Kyle Williams. Just hit spacebar. Oh, there it is. Wide receiver out of Washington State. I got to do some more homework on this guy, because some people think he's a round 1 guy. Some people think he's a day 3 guy. There are conflicting reports on him. What I can tell you is he put up great production last year for the Cougars in an offense that did not have a lot of firepower to it. Now we've got the Jags on the clock at 36. Where is Kyle Williams on my big board? Yep. He was 91 on Dane Brugler's big board. We are doing a TriCast between our Browns, Broncos, and Falcons channel. I'm the host of all 3, and here at Chat Sports, we're doing a 3-round company-wide mock draft. We're kind of simulating what's going to happen next week with all of us being live at once. So a trial run and an opportunity to have some fun and do a real mock draft. So we got that going on right now. We got Henry Ruggs with the super chat. The pick is in for the Jags. It is Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. That could have been a name that I went with for Cleveland at pick 33 if Kaleb Johnson was gone, but I just could not pass on a running back. That good in my opinion. All right, Jonathan, R.I.P. Swagger Jr. Indeed. Gone, but the swag not forgotten. Talking about the Browns, like not mascot, but the actual dog Swagger. Jonathan, thank you so much. Henry Ruggs with some prison Wi-Fi. I would trade back a little and take Kaleb Johnson. In this mock draft, we're not doing any trades, but I don't disagree with the idea of trading back from 33 and getting some more draft capital. That would be a best of both worlds if you can get the same guy 5-6 picks later and gain a 4th or 5th round pick out of it. Henry, agree, and let me know what they're having at lunch and dinner today at the yard. He, by the way, coming out of jail soonish. Oh, they put him in a nice jail. Oh, I didn't know there was a nice jail. Let's see what Henry... All right. Henry Ruggs' jail. It's a mansion? He's now at Casa Grande. That's too nice of a name for a jail. It's like Casa Grande. Dude, he's what? This isn't jail. This is like a La Quinta. He's got an apartment. What the fuck? All right. That's interesting for Nevada corrections. By the way, I think Henry Ruggs will play in the NFL when he gets out of jail. Yeah, he's only going to be like 27 years old. I think he will get an opportunity. Do we know the Raiders pick? The Raiders pick is Tyler Booker, offensive guard from Alabama. You know what? You go Genty in round 1, you better go offensive line in round 2. I like these 2 selections by Mitch over at the Raiders Report. Yeah. The Raiders, if they're going to go Genty in round 1, they better start adding to that offensive line. I think the Genty pick is going to be a very good pick for any team that takes him. I'm just that high on him as a prospect, no matter where he ends up. And then reinforce the trenches. 2 good picks by the Raiders. So next up is going to be the Falcons. They're not for a little bit, but 7 more picks. It'll be here soon. Right now it's the Bears and then the Saints. I'm going to guess the Bears go running back. I think they go Travion Henderson. Patriots pick is in. Trey Harris, Ole Miss wide receiver. Started off at Louisiana. Transfers around a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, or I'm mixing him up with Trey Amos. Anywho, he unfortunately got injured in the second half of last year, and that's why his value dropped a little bit. But I thought he was really good to open up the season with Jackson Dart. So good pick by the Patriots. They go left tackle with Will Campbell to open up the draft, and now they get a playmaker for Drake May. I like these 2 selections by New England. So Trey Harris. No looking. I'm not looking. The Bears are on the clock at 39, then the Saints, then back to Chicago because they have the Carolina Panthers second-round pick. That is the last pick of the Bryce Young trade-up. For the Bears, I'm thinking Travion Henderson. He went defensive end in round 1. I'm thinking he goes running back in round 2, but he may not want to reach on a running back. He could go offensive tackle with like Josh Connerly or Ariante Irsay. I'm going to say Travion Henderson. Yeah. Now I'm trying to think what to do for for Atlanta coming up. I'm going pass rusher. I promise. Yep. For the Bears at 39 is it is offensive tackle out of Oregon, Josh Connerly. Yeah. I think that might be like a best player available type pick. I'm not very high on Connerly. I feel like he's a bit of a raw project, but the Bears have invested a ton in their offensive line, so it would be on brand for them to continue that trend and add a tackle after adding 2 new starting guards and a new starting center. They are more or less bringing in 4 brand new starters up front. Like the Mike Green pick, I'm sure the Falcons would have liked to have him at 15, but Connerly, yeah, you're not going to run very far if you don't have a good offensive line. So he's going to compete with Braxton Jones, their current left tackle, for that starting spot in front of Caleb Williams. All right, next up is the New Orleans Saints at 40. What does Trace want to do at 40? He goes with Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU. He keeps Taylor in the state of Louisiana. Bears now back on the clock. I feel like this might be Travion Henderson. I think it's going to be a running back. Is it in? Come on. I want to see. You can't do this to me. Yeah. With the 41st overall pick, the Falcons are coming up soon. So get ready for that. Start letting me know who you want to take in the chat. Once we look at the Bears pick. Oh, I picked the wrong Ohio State running back. Quinshon Judkins. Let's look at the best players available right now for Atlanta. I like Henderson more, but both running backs are really good. All right, boys and girls. Who do you want to go with for Atlanta at 45? Should I give Bijan Henderson to work with? Would that be fun? Who else? Who are some of the top players available? Yeah. Uh-huh. Who else is available? Yeah, I was waiting on you. Okay. All right. Yep. Starting to put together an idea of what I want to do. Uh-huh. Yeah, do a top edge. Top edge is available. Who to pick? I've kind of got my name in the name I want in mind. TJ Sanders going to the Jets, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. So they went with a pair of players in the trenches, Armand Membu and now TJ Sanders. 49ers coming up next, and then the Cowboys and the Falcons right around the corner. So Mason Taylor, unfortunately, not going to be a Bronco. He goes to the Saints. I've got my name in mind. I've got my name in mind. At this point, I'll be honest, I know my pick for Atlanta. I'm not going to say it. I am praying that no one takes him before me. If someone takes this guy before me, I'm screwed. I am screwed if that happens. Maxwell Harrison, not the guy I had in mind for Atlanta. The cornerback out of Kentucky. The Niners need some DB help. So they get two good players on defense. Jalen Walker and Maxwell Harrison. So we got Cowboys coming up next, and then the Falcons right after that, I believe. Right? They're at 45. 46, sorry. Colts, yeah. So I just need two teams not to take my guy for Atlanta. Then the Broncos in the early 50s. It's a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of what to do for Denver. I feel like it's a little too early, but I've got three names in mind for the Broncos. I just want to see if they can make it there. Yeah, best available. Take a corner for the Falcons. Do I replace Kyle Pitts with Elijah Arroyo? Do I get Michael Penix a new tackle on the right side? Ariante Ursary? Darius Alexander, Toledo defensive tackle. Yep, Nate Landman's gone. Pick is in for the Cowboys. If it's my guy, I'm gonna have a BF. You don't know who I'm thinking. Okay, good. Cowboys pick. Come on. I'm not going to lie. I might have regrets over Imanwari in round one because I thought I would have better defensive linemen available in round two. So you know what? That's why we do a practice run right now. Lesson learned. But at the same time, I like Imanwari a lot as a player. I didn't pick him as a panic pick. It was more like I think he's a great player, and I'm banking on getting a good pass rusher in round two. Tom Downey from the Cowboys Report. Who have you selected at 44? Come on. Travion Henderson. Yep. New Cowboys running back. I like that pick a lot for the boys. All right, we're going to pause for a moment just to recap what's gone on. Let's recap. What do you want to do? All round one? Yeah. Falcons fans and Broncos fans picking at 51. Let me know who you want to select. And then Browns fans, no quarterbacks taken so far in round 2. Right? They're all still there. We got Danny. Danny, big extra thank you to you. And you know why? No quarterbacks taken in round 2. I think that's a sign of what's to come, though. Not because all of the chat sports hosts are geniuses, but I think the quarterbacks are going to go a little bit later than people are anticipating. All right. Yeah. Okay. So a super chat on our Broncos breakdown channel. Danny really wanted the LSU Tigers Taylor to Denver. Matthew may go wide receiver in round 2. I would not have been opposed to Mason Taylor in round 2. I'm not going to lie. If he was there, I would have definitely been, open to it and really consider it in. So, I know you love your LSU Tigers. There's nothing better than when your college team and your pro team align. That is the best feeling. Reed thinks my guy got taken. Danny, thank you for your super chat. Are we all caught up on supers? Yep. Who did the Colts take at 45? Reed thinks I'm screwed. I'm guessing it's a pass rusher. There are some pass. That was not my guy. Not that I think he's a bad player. That's not my preferred target right now. So I'm on the clock. All right. I know my pick now. I will take a moment. Yep. Best available. Just a little peek. I've got my name. All right. I have sent it in. Pick is in for Atlanta. Predict who you think, dog, if it's Jalen Milroe. Predict who you think I took for the Falcons. I like my suitcase. I like my pick. All right. Here we go. With the 46th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft by Chat Sports, I have selected JT Tuimoloau, the defensive end out of Ohio State. I saw his best play when the lights were the brightest during the college football playoff, leading this Buckeyes pass rush to a national championship, and I think that can carry over to the next level. After not going with an edge rusher in round 1, I knew I had to go with one in round 2, and I went with the guy who had 12.5 sacks last year, 22 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. He's got great size, 6'4", 264 pounds. You can throw him on the defensive line in a 3-4 front. If you switch to a 4-3, he can still play outside for you. I love the production. A little bit of a late-ish bloom for a big-time recruit by the Buckeyes, but he is a high-floor type player, as Tom Downey points out. He dominated the college football playoff. Now, the pure athletic traits may not stand out compared to some other players, but I want football players, not track stars. And this was a guy, when the pressure was on, when the chips were down, he came to play. So I'm bringing him over to Atlanta. I'm excited about this pick. I think it's going to be a really good pick for a team in round 2. I get Nick Emanwari with Jesse Bates and A.J. Terrell in the secondary. And now I've got JT opposite of Leonard Floyd, and still, an up-and-coming pass rushing group with Braylon Trice and Arnold Ebiketie. But to me, at 46, this was the best pass rusher available. I had to address this need, and so that's the pick for me. Give me your grade, A, B, C, D, or A, B, C, D, or F. I want to hear from you guys. This draft was horrible. The fans are upset. The fans are upset. People are pissed. B+, B-, D+. How are we feeling about Atlanta's 2 picks so far? If that name was Mike Green, damn how different the tune would be. But he went before me. He went to 10 to the Bears. Yeah, let's just catch up. It's fine. Yeah, just catch up. Show what happened after the Falcons pick at 46. Broncos are coming up next, or in a bit. They're 51. Okay, the Cardinals go receiver, and then Donovan Jackson going to the Dolphins. Okay, so go to the next 4. I'm saying go to the next 4, though. Yep. So Denver's 3 picks away. The Bengals are on the clock right now. Who do you want me to take for Denver at 51? Do the other L3. No. We are live right now on 3 different chat sports channels. Our Browns, Broncos, and Falcons channel. So, one feed. Oh, Tyleik Williams stays in the Buckeye State. He goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Seattle, then Denver. Who to pick for the Broncos? All right. Who to pick for the Broncos? Let's look at the best available. Best available. Keep going, because I'm up in the air right now. I don't know. Go tight end. Yep. Took Omarion Hampton at pick number 20. There's wide receivers. Yeah, wide receivers. Isaiah Bond's in some legal trouble right now. Might stay away from that one. I've got a leading contender in mind. Go pass rusher. I've got a pass rusher in mind. Sorry, a player in mind. All right. Is the Seattle pick in? I like the C- on your Browns draft. Travis Hunter's no good. The Kaleb Johnson pick was so bad. Just tanked the grade altogether. Desire Best says Gunnar Helm. Oscar wants to go with the DB or Jalen Noel. Maxwell Harrison's already been picked. This is tough, I'm not going to lie. Pick is in for Seattle. Let's check out who the Seahawks took at 50. Tate Ratledge, the Georgia guard. Was not thinking him. Denver's on the clock. All right. I think I've got my pick. Yeah. I've set my pick in. Pick is in. Reed is a fan of my pick. I have sent in the Broncos pick. Let's check out who I took at 51 for the Broncos. Yep. Here it is. With the 51st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Elijah Arroyo, the tight end out of Miami. I did not want to reach on some other players that I liked a lot that I think I could get in round 3. And if I do get that player in round 3, I'll let you know who that special someone was. But at the end of the day, what was Denver's biggest needs going into this offseason? Running back and tight end. They addressed tight end in free agency with Evan Ingram, but I still don't think you can address it enough for how bad that room was a year ago. So why not go get a young tight end like Arroyo out of Texas? Here's the background on him. Some injury concerns from 2022 to 2023, but in 2024, put together a healthy season with Cam Ward, 590 yards, 7 touchdowns. I think this gives Sean Payton more flexibility when it comes to formations, with the option to put on 2 tight end sets more frequently than he could before. I like Arroyo a lot as a pick for 2026 and beyond. Let that knee kind of get healthy a little bit in 2025 with Evan Ingram on the field for the most part. And then you have that transition from one veteran tight end to a young ascending tight end. Overall, Arroyo's a really good receiving target, and with the way the NFL is trending at the tight end position, that's what I am looking for first and foremost out of my tight ends. So I go with a running back in round 1, Omari and Hampton, and then in round 2, I select Elijah Arroyo, the Miami tight end, and bring him over to the Mile High City. So give me your grades on these picks right here for the Broncos. Omari and Hampton in round number 1, Elijah Arroyo in round number 2. Want to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Just put me on screen read. There it is. I know, but just get me on screen first. So Hampton, I really wanted to fix the running back room. Arroyo was a little bit of like a best player available. Would not have been opposed to going defensive tackle here, but I felt like there were no DTs who were vastly better than Arroyo for me to pass on the Miami tight end. What do we think? We get 2 young playmakers to help improve Denver's biggest needs going into this draft. I know, but in the future, just put me on screen and then go look for that. So let's look and see what picks were made after this one. Jared Wilson, the Georgia center, going to the Seattle Seahawks. How did they get that pick? What trade was that? Giants trade? Yep. All right. At 53, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take Darius Alexander. I'm not very high on him as a prospect. I don't know what everyone else is seeing to the point of top 50, 60 buzz. One second, I just got to cross him off my list. One moment. Where are you, Darius Alexander? Sorry. Here you are. And then at 54, Landon Jackson goes to the Green Bay Packers. So we're over halfway through the second round now. Buffalo Bills with the Texans pick. Chargers first with pick 55. Go Jack. That is the most like Harbaugh, Lad McConkey 2.0 type pick right there. Bills are on the clock at 56. So Buffalo, they went corner in round 1. What do they want to do in round 2? Do people like the Elijah Arroyo pick right there? Oh, the DK. Thank you very much, Desire Best. I was wondering how the Seahawks got that second rounder. Michael says B. Productions likes it. MG says nice pick. Juice says love the pick. Denver still has a third-round pick. Browns have 2 third-round picks. Falcons have no third-round picks. I could tell Pete. I mean, I was transparent that I was very upset the guys who went before Atlanta 15. Like, I just felt like, and listen, I made that gamble that I could get a better defensive lineman in round 2. I took who I thought was the best available at that point, but I thought there would be a few other guys there that unfortunately were not there. So, if I could do it all over again, I might do it all over again, do it differently. I might go with like Mykel Williams and then Benjamin Morrison, because he's still available, the Notre Dame corner. Yeah. Jack Beck, though, TCU, wide receiver, off to LA with the Chargers. Waiting on the Bills selection right now? Okay. Yep, Bills pick is in. I just saw it. Bills pick is in. Cross him off my list. I still can't believe no one is taking a quarterback. No. Buffalo's pick is Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. So a corner and a safety for Buffalo. I thought they might prioritize edge a little bit more, given the blueprint the Eagles put out there for beating Patrick Mahomes. I really wish the Falcons had a third-round pick, because I would just double dip again at edge. Yeah. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you are enjoying this free mock draft, a live mock draft, of course, too. Then come back next week for the granddaddy of them all, the real 2025 NFL Draft. Subscribe to the channel for the best content leading up to the draft as well. Man, when Jalen Walker was still there after the Bears, I thought he could be a Falcon. When Jalen Walker and Will Johnson were both still there, I was like, I just need one of these two guys to go from I can't both them pick between 11 and 14. And both were picked from 11 to 14. Yep, that's a good idea. So we're waiting on the next pick, but just a little bit of background on the 3 teams that I cover here at Chat Sports and what they've got going on going into this draft and their biggest needs, pointed out by Tom Downey, our NFL draft expert, if you will. Browns, number 2 pick in the draft, as we know. 10 total picks. They got a lot of arsenal. A lot of, that makes sense. A lot of picks in their arsenal. Ammunition, yeah. And the Falcons is a little bit more lonely. Just 5 picks. Leonard Floyd, probably the biggest addition I've made, I'd say. And here are some of the top guys available. No one wants to go quarterback. Pick is in for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. So we got 2 picks in right now. The Carolina Panthers at 57 go with Siobhan Revel, who went to ECU. So I feel like the Panthers love taking Carolina guys. And then the Texans go with an offensive tackle, Ariante Ursary. This is going to replace Laramie Tunsil. So he's off the board, and Siobhan Revel goes off the board. Ravens and Lions up next, and we're almost at the end of round number 2. The Browns are going to be on the clock soon at the early stages of round 3. The Broncos have a third-round pick, and then the Browns have a late third-round pick they got from Buffalo. What do the Ravens do at 59? They went James Peterson round 1. I could see them going with... I don't really know what the Ravens are going to do in round 2. Yep. Man, Walter Nolan. I didn't think he'd get to round 2, but when he started to slide a little bit in round 1, I was like, if I could get him or Michael Williams. Yeah. Ravens pick is in, and they go offensive line. I like this pick. Detroit took Walter Nolan in round 1. Round 2, we'll see what the Motor City wants to do. Yeah. Who's going to be the first quarterback? Sorry, who's the next quarterback taken? You think Milroe? I think one of the teams at the early stages of round 3 will take a quarterback. At this point, I don't expect any teams at the end of round 2 to take one. Ooh, Lions pick is in. I want this Lions pick I wanted for Atlanta in round 4. Yeah, I did. He's him. I told you. I only gave you one over or under, and you used it. Braden Swinson, edge rusher out of LSU. I like this pick a lot by Detroit. Ooh, that's a really good pick. Not surprised Sperry was onto this one. Kevin Winston, he's a very good safety for Penn State. Got injured. He fell off people's radars. But when he was on the field, he was terrific. Nice pick by the Commanders. Where's Kevin Winston? Cross him off my list. Browns have pick what? 67, I think? Yeah, 67. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and hanging out with us. The Super Chat battle, by the way, we haven't really... we're a little busy right now anyway, but first place goes to the Broncos breakdown, 246 USD. Second place goes to the Browns report at $29, and third goes to Falcons today at 14. I feel like Falcons today is just going to boycott me for my pick in round 1. The good news is, as long as Mike Green is there at 15, that's a bridge we don't have to cross. If he does go before 15, and so does everyone else I like for the Falcons, that's going to get weird. Yep, Denver's picks I made so far. Hampton, Arroyo. I've got my round 3 target in mind already. Falcon selections. I know this is not going to be a unanimously popular pick. This one's a result of just a lot of guys I liked going before Atlanta 15. And then me banking on some other edge rushers being there around 2. I still like the JT pick. I think he's going to be a really good player. But I understand why people may not love this. And then for the Browns, Travis Hunter and Kaleb Johnson. I like this. Yeah. We're talking about getting jersey sellers, butts in seats, quick offensive turnaround, and defensive turnaround, too, with Hunter playing both ways. Bill's selection is in. I cannot guess anymore. Bills at 62. Who do they go with? They've got 2 second-rounders, one from Houston for the Stephon Diggs trade, and then their own second-round pick. Yep. Come on. Oh, I know who that is, yeah. Yeah, best available. I think Benjamin Morrison is going to be a fun pick for someone. He suffered a hip injury last year. He might take a little bit of time to recover early in his rookie season, but 2026 and beyond, he has the potential to be a lockdown corner. Jackson Dart's still available. No one wants the UCLA linebacker. He's going to go forever. Jalen Milroe is there. Darian Porter. Jalen Noel, if you want a little peek behind the scenes, I was in between him and the pick I made at Elijah Arroyo in round 2. Yeah. Those are the 2 guys I was in between. Alfred Collins is who I wanted for the Broncos in round 3. And now Jalen Noel goes. Those are my 2 guys for Denver in round 3. Oh, you got to be shitting me. Come on. Jalen Noel. Well, I don't have to learn it anymore because he's not on this team. Damn it. Jalen Noel. Fuck. That one sucks. Dylan, for the Falcons in round 2, I went with the Ohio State edge rusher, J.T. Tuimoloau. Who do the Eagles want to pick at 64? The Eagles have no need. I'm sure every team has needs, but they just got to get some good football players because they are so talented at every position pretty much. They can afford to not check a box at a certain spot and still be fine for next year. If there was one box, it'd probably be pass rusher because Montez Sweat left in free agency. But then they signed Azeez Ojulari, so right back to where they were. Yeah. So we'll take a little bit of a break between 64 and 65. But we got to start talking about who to take for 67 for Cleveland. Let me know in the chat who I should take for the Browns at pick 67. I've kind of got one name in mind. But I am open to ideas here. I'm open to ideas. Pick is in for the Eagles, and it is Anthony Belton, the North Carolina State offensive tackle. They need a tackle? They got a replacement for, what's his face? Yeah. Yeah. Losing an offensive tackle could really derail, a season. All right, Reed has something he wants to throw on screen. I got to figure out. Yeah. I feel like Falcons fans are just going to say the 2 names that I picked. Who to take for Cleveland? Who to take for the Browns at 67? in between a couple of names here. Yeah, I'm torn, to be honest with you. I've got one name in mind that's ahead of everyone else. I think the the discussion point for the Falcons contingency watching should be what do you want Atlanta to do if Mike Green is gone? Because that's just been the consensus so far. We got to have a backup plan. Yeah. That is the bigger question here. You may not like my backup plan. That's fine. But I just want to know, what was your backup plan? Yeah, a lot of quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks still available. Giants are on the clock. I feel like Marsh is going to take one of these quarterbacks. I've got my quarterback I want in mind. I don't know if you'll. I don't hate that idea. I know I do. They make it look so much easier on TV. Yeah, that's true. I saw that pick and it was my pick. Damn it. Yeah. I think I know what I'm going to do. That pick belongs to the um, Titans, and that's a luxurious need, I think, pick. Yeah, Omar Norman Lott, really good pass rushing defensive tackle going to the Giants. Very nice pick by Marshall. I know who I want. I can't have the Chiefs cuck me. If Tyler Jones cucks me, I'll be pissed. I don't have a backup plan in mind. Yeah, am I going to get quarterback? That's the question right now. You have put 8 names on screen between the four. I know I'm saying, but you have put 8 so far between the 4 quarterbacks. Really 7, I guess, because Dark counts twice. I am taking one of those 7 players. I am taking one of those 7 players. As long. Let's see what the Chiefs do. See what the Chiefs do. What did Tyler Jones pick? No one wants this UCLA linebacker. It kind of reminds me. I know of this player, yeah. So the pick is in for the Chiefs. It is Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle out of Florida State. Browns are on the clock. All right. I have sent the pick in. The pick is in for the Browns. At 67, I have submitted it. Just waiting for the league office to publish it. Who did I select? I'm going to kind of build up the suspense a little bit. With the 67th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, on behalf of the Cleveland Browns, I have selected Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. I know cornerback seems like a little bit of a surprise here. I will explain myself, but first, let me tell you about the player. Who are we getting here? Well, for starters, the Browns are getting one of the best corners in this draft when healthy. He missed the last 10 games of the 2024 season with a hip injury, which in this case I think works out in the Browns' favor because it allows him to fall to round number 3. He is an awesome corner in coverage. He's got great ball skills, 9 interceptions in his 31 games for the Fighting Irish. The only reason why he's even remotely available in round 3 is because of a hip injury he suffered last year. So, if the hip injury checks out, which this is a gamble, and maybe the Browns have crossed him off their list because it did not check out for them, but if it does check out, I feel like this is going to be a pick that we look back at as an all-time draft steal. So that's a little bit of background on Morrison. Let me tell you why I went cornerback in this spot. One, if you've noticed, no one seems to be panic-picking quarterbacks. So I felt confident that I could still get another quarterback with my second third-round pick. The other reason why I went with this selection here is 2 of your 3 starting corners are going into contract years. Martin Emerson's a free agent after this season. Greg Newsome is a free agent after this season. Yes, Travis Hunter was the pick at number 2, but Andrew Berry expects him to play more wide receiver than corner. So I don't feel like Travis Hunter completely solves your future cornerback issues. So with 2 of your 3 starting corners under contract for just 1 more year, Denzel Ward constantly facing concussion issues, I felt like Morrison could be a really smart pick for the long term. I don't expect a lot from him in 2025. That hip injury might slow him down at the beginning of the season, but going into 2026, he could step in and replace potentially Martin Emerson. If Denzel Ward's injuries don't go away, he could potentially replace Greg Newsome. I felt like this was a pure taking the best player available and a very important position that we know Andrew Berry likes to invest in routinely. So, Travis Hunter, Caleb Johnson, and Benjamin Morrison are my first 3 picks for the Browns. Let me hear it. Boo me in the chat, but I love these picks for Cleveland. I couldn't pass on someone I think is just going to be that good of an NFL player. So let's catch up on some other picks because the Broncos have a 3rd-round pick coming up in a little bit. The Raiders finally, someone takes Carson Schwarzenegger. I don't know. Well, I know. We're scary right there. And then who's after that? Yep. Whoa! Cam Scatterboo. I like it. Going to the Patriots at 69. I like it. And then Xavier Restrepo going to the Jags at 70. All right. You get some name pop right there, that's for sure. No. Saints? Oh, I said that, yeah. Okay. When does Denver pick again? 79? No. Not until the late 80s. 85. Okay. So we got a little bit of time until the Broncos' next pick. Kathy likes the pick. Jersey Dog, it is my pick. And I only brought up A being liking corners to just illustrate the possibility of how that could happen. But don't get me wrong, I'm making this pick because I'm willing to put my name next to his name of he's going to be a good NFL starter. Yeah. Yeah. Slow indeed. Uh-huh. Ooh. 4.85. Yikes. That is slow. There's like acceptable slow, and then there's that slow. But if you're fast with your pads on, I think one of the most underappreciated drills at the NFL Combine, and I'm blanking on the name it has, but it's the drill where a receiver runs like lengthwise of the field, and he runs, catch, drops, runs, catch, drops. That to me is a better time to track because I want to know how fast you're running when the ball's thrown at you, right? Do you slow down a little bit to brace for contact, or do you maintain that high speed? Yeah. Xavier. Yeah. That is slow. Oh, right. Reed just shared in high school. He ran a 4.93 freshman year. So freshman Reed, not far behind pick number 70. And the Saints at pick 71 have gone with Utah State wide receiver Jalen Royals. Not bad. Not bad. The Bears pick, let me see, like, based on who's available. I don't think the Bears would have gone with any of those players. He took an offensive lineman already, right? So I feel like that might. And he took Quinshawn Judkins. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Who do the Bears take? Yeah, really cucked Atlanta right there with Mike Green. Then Josh Connerly early in round 2, followed by Quinshawn Judkins. I'm going to guess a position. I'm going to say he went with. I'll go tight end. I'll go tight end. No, okay. Andrew Makuba. Good player out of Texas. Nice pick. Nice pick. All right, so a little 3-minute pause right now until the 49ers pick at 73. Yep. Oh, we got some other picks here. Oh, I didn't know these picks were done. The Jets went with your guy out of Florida State, and I really wanted Princely Umenemion. God, I pronounced it. I rehearsed it, and then once the lights come on, you forget how to say it. I wanted that pick for Atlanta in round 4 if he kept falling. Yeah. Well, you practice like saying these names, and then when it's just you and a camera and 10 lights on you, your brain just goes blank sometimes. Yeah, good guess. Who to get for the Broncos at 85 now? We still have 10 picks to go. I mean, just look over the best players available. Let's start thinking ahead for Denver right now. We've gotten running back and tight end so far. I'll tell you right now what I'm leaning towards. I would like to add a defensive tackle. Alfred Collins going to the Bills really boned me because I liked that a lot. Yeah. I'd like to add a defensive tackle if I'm being honest. Yeah, let's see who's available. Um, None of these guys. I mean, the offensive linemen are intriguing if you want to replace Ben Powers after this year, but I would just replace him in next year's draft. Moving on a little bit, no one here really. I wouldn't hate. a corner because you don't have good depth there. So that's a possibility. Edges, you can never have enough pass rushers. You know, I almost didn't go with Elijah Arroyo in round 2 because I wanted to get this other guy in round 3, Terrence Ferguson. I'm not in love with what I'm looking at here, to be honest, guys. '49ers are on the clock at 75. I feel like edges, I know you got to go best player available usually, but you've got good edge rushers already. Is there really room for a young third-round pick to develop if you're trying to develop Jonah Ellis, right? Where do his snaps go if you got to give it to a rookie? Yeah, well, it's not even the needs. It's more about like the availability of who's still out there. This is a tough one. I've got someone in mind, and I think I'm probably going to pull the trigger on it. We'll see if he gets taken before me. It's not a good center class. If either one of the Georgia guys were still there, I'd take them. I don't really want to reach on an offensive lineman. Picks are starting to come in here. Dan likes my draft. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, receivers, that's a very good possibility. You're right. I don't think Tez is going to go any time before round 4. Round 5 feels like the earliest for him. Picks are coming in here. The Niners go offensive line. The Cowboys go cornerback. And then this Noel Williams fella. Sorry, my nose is starting to run. Yep. Yeah, we are doing a TriCast on 3 different channels here at Chat Sports, Browns, Broncos, and Falcons. I'm the host of all 3 channels, and we'll be doing the same thing a week from today for day 1 and then day 2 of the NFL draft. So a bit unorthodox, a bit quirky, I understand that, but it's the best and only way for me to get you guys as much coverage as possible during the draft. All right. Patriots. Denver's at 85, so they are not far away. Got to start thinking. I've got one name in mind. We'll see if he makes it there. And then the Browns pick in the 90s, 94, I think, from the Bills. Pick is coming in soon. Once more, thank you for everyone that's tuning in and watching with us. If you have not yet liked the stream, it does help grow the channel a lot. Jordan Birch, Oregon defensive end. Good pick by New England. Good pick by Allie Barefoot specifically, yeah. What happened? Marlon Kuzi, great to see you. Wow. Cardinals go Jackson Dart. Pushing Kyler Murray a little bit. So the first quarterback in day 2 is taken. It's Jackson Dart to the Arizona Cardinals. Not going to lie, Jackson Dart was my number 1 target for the Browns with their second, third round pick. I could have taken him at the beginning of round 3. But I decided to be a little bit more patient because I still don't think these quarterbacks are going to be serious long-term starters. And I know round 3 is not, a guarantee of a great prospect, but early round 3 is a good time to get one. So I decided not to get a quarterback then. And the gamble did not pay off when it comes to Dart, but I still have a few other quarterbacks I like. So Jackson Dart going to the Cardinals. Who do the Texans want to take at 79? Broncos country. Start getting hop into the chat with a few names you want to see taken at 85 for Denver. Kathy, I will come back. Major news just came in. What is the major news? Not that I could see major news. The Titans cut a third-round pick from Ohio State a few years ago, Nicholas Petit-Friere. So any team looking for an offensive tackle, that's a possibility. I wonder why he got cut today. I'm guessing lack of off-season workouts. I saw that. He's him with a super chat. Cool guy. I could see the Colts taking a quarterback. Absolutely. They signed Daniel Jones, but can never have enough good quarterbacks on the roster. They look at one of these prospects as a good quarterback. Yeah, I just got to blow my nose. Nose is running. Trying to contain it. He's him. Predict what week Browns fans start to tune out. It's hard to say for sure without knowing like the schedule of who they play when. But I would say like week 4, if they get off to an 0-3 start, could be tough. Pick is in, and it is an offensive lineman for the Texans out of West Virginia. Wyatt Millam. I kind of thought about that pick for Denver. Yeah, because I think he could move to center. And I thought that could be a possible replacement if Luke Wattenberg doesn't get his shit together. Pick is in for Colts. Demetrius Knight, linebacker from South Carolina. And, wow. Our Bengals guy is just taking all of the Buckeyes. Jack Sawyer goes to Cincinnati. Can you give me a paper towel and mute me, please? Mute me. No one wants to hear that. I swear. Just bad allergies. Bad allergies. Well, you didn't mute me yet. I was muted already? Oh, I didn't see you. I didn't see you mute me the first time. I'm trying to see. Can you? I'm gonna Slack you a name. Can you see if he was taken already? Actually, I'll just search it. I think it was. Yeah, it was taken. I was like, how is that guy still available? Okay. Yeah, let's look at best available. Denver is the next team of these 3 picking. Which of these names is jumping out to you the most? None of them are really jumping out. Like, I would like to get Terrence Ferguson. Man, I'm a little pissed. If I could go back and do it differently, can you go back to when I took Elijah Arroyo? Who did I pass on that I could have gotten, and then I could have gotten Ferguson at 85? Because I picked Arroyo because I didn't think I could get Ferguson in round 3. So who could I have picked? I could have gone Jared Wilson, and that could have been like a new center for this team. I'm not super high on Darius Alexander, so I'm not too upset about that. I could have gone Xavier Watts, safety. Who else could I have gone with? Yeah, I just don't think offensive line. They've got, their left tackle and their right tackle, their right guard. It's not a very good offensive line class, so I didn't want to force a pick. Kevin Winston would have been a fun pick. Yeah. That one, I could have gone Alfred Collins. I thought I could get him for sure in round 3. Yep. Oh, he's him. There's a new development on the he's him front, by the way. He wants a Joe Flacco jersey, which I was like, sure, as long as this ends this charade. And then he's like, I changed addresses, by the way. And I was like, well, I need the new address. Yeah, there it is. Kind of a surprise for where he went. But the Seattle Seahawks, with the 82nd pick in the draft, they go with Tez Johnson, wide receiver out of Oregon. I don't think he's a... What? Yeah, he's him. I can't mail you anything if you don't give me an address. It took 3 months to get your address, and then you tell me you moved. Okay, cool. Send me the new one, and you won't do that. Oh. We've got the Steelers have made a pick. This is going to be noteworthy, everyone. Get ready. Who did the Pittsburgh Steelers select? Jalen Milroe. That could be the signal caller for the steel curtain for the future. Jack Sperry takes Jalen Milroe, 83rd overall. The Chat Sports inside joke here is Sperry has a hard-on for Tyler Shuck, the Louisville quarterback, who is available, and he passed on him for Jalen Milroe. So Milroe will not be a Brown. He goes to another AFC North team. The Crimson Tide quarterback is a Pittsburgh Steeler. And then the Buccaneers selected Kyle Kennard, edge rusher out of South Carolina. We're on the clock. Okay. Battle stations, everyone. Battle stations. I think I know what I'm going to do. Look at best available. I'm going to send it in. I think I know what I'm going to do. I've sent it in. All right. Pick is in. Pick 85 for the Broncos is in. And with this pick, I have selected, drum roll please. Come on, computer. Come on, cooperate. Can't blue ball everyone like this. Don't do this to us. All right, maybe we just send it anyway. Yeah. With pick 85 in the 2025 NFL Draft, I have selected Ty Hamilton, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. I wanted the Broncos to add to their interior defensive line in this draft, and I get it done in the middle of the third round. Let me start by telling you a little bit of background information on Hamilton, and then we can talk more about the pick itself. He was a 2-year starter for the Buckeyes. He was a little bit all over the defensive line, but to me, he plays best as more of like a 2 technique to 3 technique. He's got some good size to him. We're looking at a 6'2", 300-pound defensive tackle. I don't think he's going to be a traditional nose tackle at the next level, but he's got some pass rushing skills that need some refining, need some development, but he's quick. He's got good burst. He's got good athleticism for that size, and he creates disruption. I think there are some coaching work to be done on his side of things, but Sean Payton, Vance Joseph, and Jim Leonard, the defensive staff in general, I trust them to look at a prospect like Hamilton and get a little bit more out of him. So I went defensive line in round number 3. I was in between 2 players, really, at this spot. Ty Hamilton, Ohio State defensive tackle, and Billy Bowman, the Oklahoma safety, but I felt like getting another run stopper and getting another young piece to rotate in would be more important after you've already signed one safety in free agency. So Ty Hamilton, he joins a handful of Buckeyes who have gone from Columbus to Denver over the last couple of years, joining Omarion Hampton, your new starting running back, Elijah Arroyo, who's an awesome receiving tight end, and then a 300-pound 2 to 3 technique defensive tackle that should rotate in nicely with DJ Jones and Malcolm Roach at that interior spot on the line. So let me know how you would grade my 3 picks for Denver, rounds 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to give myself a B+. I love the A pick here. These are like B minus picks, which is expected because you're picking later. So that's not too uncommon, but I'd go with the B+ for this mock draft right here. What do we think? What are our thoughts? I did not go receiver. That was tempting for a lot of people, but I feel that Courtland Sutton, and you took 2 receivers in last year's draft. I want to see more from those guys, and it's not a great receiver class to begin with, so I'm not going to force a receiver in day 2. I can wait until day 3 for a wide receiver. What other picks have been made since that one? Yeah, let's check out. Browns are coming up soon. Josiah Stewart, Michigan defensive end. Won't try and pronounce this guy's name because he's not going to the Broncos or Browns or Falcons, so who cares? The Jags go with a 6'3" corner, Darian Porter, 6-year player for the Cyclones. Started off at receiver, made the switch to corner. Incredible athlete, but he is a very raw corner when it comes to NFL readiness. We're getting closer and closer to the Browns' 3rd-round pick. Jackson Dart was picked by the Arizona Cardinals early in round 3. The Steelers selected Jalen Milroe in round 3 as well. So there are still some good quarterbacks available. Let's check out who's coming up next on the clock. I've got my pick in mind for the Browns. It's just a question of will this player be there when the Browns are on the clock. Jags just picked. I got to update my big board myself. I'm in between two right now for the Browns, to be honest. Yeah, 94 for the Browns. Right now, 89's on the clock. Who do you want your team to select next? Yeah. Only 3 rounds, so once we get through the end of round 3, we'll sign off. I'm in between 2 right now. I'm in between. There's 3 candidates in my mind right now. I've got 3 candidates. And the decision might be made for me, so let's just wait and see. I'm not looking. Get the pick on screen. The decision could be made for me. All right. I'm closing my eyes. Okay, that was one of my 2. Oh, it was not one of my guys. I did like the idea of going with Terrence Ferguson. I thought that could be a good Njoku replacement if the Browns were thinking of moving on from the Chief after this year. But then Tyler Shuck goes to the Rams. Okay. The Browns are coming up soon. So now I'm down to 2. And I think I know what I'm going to do. Yeah. I think I know what I'm going to do. These are the 3 picks I've made so far for Cleveland. And again, these are picks that I would do. This is me as the GM, not me predicting what I think is going to happen. I don't expect the Browns to go with Kaleb Johnson at pick 33. But I just think he's that great of a running back. I wanted to get this team's next Nick Chubb. Benjamin Morrison, I felt like was too good of a prospect to pass on. So I feel like in 2025, he may not have a starting role. That's fine. Let that hip get healthy. Give him full almost like 20 months from the hip injury. And starting in 2026 for either Martin Emerson, if he does not come back because he might have a bad pair of seasons in a row, or if Denzel Ward's injuries don't go away, or something with Greg Newsome, if he gets traded during the draft, I like the idea of adding a corner. All right, we got the Ravens pick in at 91. Hit spacebar. Kobe Bryant. I've got my player in mind still and available. Can they hold the line and get me to him? Who's picking before the Browns right now? We got Seattle at 92, and then the Saints. I'm feeling good that my guy's going to be available. I'll say that much. Browns fans, let me know, who should I take? I cannot say. Another Chris Paul, I know, yeah. I will not say who I'm taking. I will not say. Two more picks. Seattle and then New Orleans. Come on. I like how Michael is speaking in third person in our Broncos chat, saying Michael has won the Super Chat Superstar. Michael, you absolutely won the Super Chat MVP today. $150, and I don't expect anyone to sniff that number. Yep. The Seahawks pick is in, and then it's one more until Cleveland at 94. We're only going to go 3 rounds today. Of course, next weekend it'll be all 7. Cool guy. I did take 2 corners, but they said that Travis Hunter's a receiver. So I feel that you could kind of, with this draft, position yourself for 2026 to get 2 new corners in the starting lineup, since Denzel Ward will be getting close to 30 in the end of his contract, and Martin Emerson and Greg Newsome are both in contract years. Like, how many more years does Denzel Ward have left on that 5-year extension he signed? Denzel Ward, I'm not trying to speak into existence that the Browns move on from the Warden, but Denzel Ward has 3 years, including this one, 2025, 6, and 7. Oh, we got some picks coming in. Well, I didn't realize we had 2 picks in. So we're on the clock. Savion Williams, TCU wide receiver. I'm going to give it a second. Can you guys predict who I'm going to take for the Browns at 94? I'm hitting enter now. Pick is in. Now you wait and see who I went with. Pick 94 with a 3rd round selection acquired from the Buffalo Bills in a trade for Amari Cooper. On behalf of the Cleveland Browns, I, Matthew John Peterson, have selected Kyle McCord, quarterback out of Syracuse. I know that I am on an island right now, and no one wants McCord. You all want Will Howard, but I got to do what's best for what I believe is the future of this team and not your Ohio State fandom bleeding into your Browns fandom. So I went with the former Buckeye, the ACC single-season passing record holder, Kyle McCord. I feel that McCord is being slept on in this draft. He does not have any physical tools or traits that jump out to you, but he played way better in 2024 with a bad Syracuse team around him, won 10 games, and something that really jumps out to me as a positive for McCord is the comeback ability that he has. The guy had multiple comeback wins last year and at OSU. I think he had 9 over the past 2 seasons. That to me shows a lot of grit and a lot of ability to get shit done. And so at 94, I went with McCord. I went with someone that I think could be a good rookie addition to this quarterback room. Someone who can sit behind either Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett. And I like this selection. And I know it's not what the Buckeye fans wanted me to do. But for me, this is what my gut tells me is the best pick for Cleveland. So let me hear it. Boo me. Tell me I'm wrong. My counter to you is I think you all just hate him because of one loss to Michigan. And that has been pinned on McCord. And with Will Howard winning a natty, it makes McCord look even uglier and Howard look even prettier. But I think that when it comes to the pros, McCord's going to have a better shot of being a successful NFL starting quarterback. There. I said it. I went with Kyle McCord. Ghostface, you called it like half an hour ago, and I had to hold back the laugh. So here are my selections. Let's go through all 3 teams I host. I went Travis Hunter, 2nd overall. He will primarily play wide receiver. They'll sprinkle him in at corner. He's a unicorn. And picking 2, we've never seen a player like Hunter in the last century of this. This decade. Sorry, this entire century, of the 21st century, of someone who plays both ways at the level he does. And I just felt that that was too rare to pass on. And I've warmed up a lot to Hunter. Then, pick 33, I want to get this team's next Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, if you remember, was the 34th overall pick in the draft. So I thought Caleb Johnson could fill that role well. Almost 10 years later, 2025 versus 2018, and I got this team's workhorse back for hopefully the next 8 to 10 years. Next up, Benjamin Morrison, an outstanding corner. If not for a hip injury, a third of the way through the 2024 season, would be a no-doubter top 50 draft pick. There at 67, I thought 1 year ahead. 2 out of your 3 starting corners are going to be free agents next year. So you can already plant the replacement seeds in this year's draft with someone who just needs a little bit of time to get that hip right and can start for you and be a round 1 quality corner in 2026. And at last, I do address quarterback. I go with a guy that I think is worth the wait on in Kyle McCord, someone who showed me a ton of comeback ability at his time in college. He led Syracuse to 10 wins. That's not easy to do. And I felt like one bad loss to Michigan completely ruined his image in college football. But at 94, I'm willing to roll the dice on him. Now, as for the Atlanta Falcons and the Denver Broncos, for the Dirty Birds, listen, not in love with the selections I made. This is more a reflection of we had to go to Plan E. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D all went out the window. Mike Green, gone at 10. Jalen Walker, gone at 11. Will Johnson, gone at 13. I panicked. I scrambled. And I went with the guy that I thought was the best player on the board, and I banked on getting a good pass rusher in round 2. If I could do it all over again, knowing what ended up happening in round 2, I'd probably do it differently. So, Terry, if you're watching, learn from my mistake here. I thought there'd be some better pass rushers and defensive linemen in the second round. It's not a knock against JT, but unfortunately, the board just didn't go the way I would have hoped for. And I didn't want to feel like I was reaching on a guy in round 1 when my top guys were gone. But Nicky Manwari is still going to be a really good player for a team. He's got awesome size and speed. He is 6'3", 220, runs a sub-4 40-yard dash. Not only is he an incredible athlete, he's also a great football player. Usually you get great athletes with low production, like Shamir Stewart from A&M. No, with Eamon, it's a guy who had 2 pick sixes last year. So while it may not address Atlanta's pass rushing woes, and believe me, I want to fix that, I do feel that you are getting a better defense with Eamon on it. As for the Broncos, I didn't mess around here. I went out and I got Omarion Hampton at pick number 20. No more charade, no more revolving door from Noshawn Moreno to C.J. Anderson, Phillip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon, Javon. No, it's done. Omarion Hampton's going to be this team's starting running back for the next 6 years minimum. He's got incredible size and speed. He's one of just 8 running backs in the last decade to weigh in at the combine north of 220 pounds and run under a 4.5 40-yard dash. Some other guys in that club, Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. Love the Hampton pick. Then in round 2, Evan Ingram's 29 and is on a 2-year contract. I don't like any of the other tight ends they have growing in the ranks, so give me a pass-catching threat in Elijah Arroyo for Bo Nix for beyond just 2025, which Ingram could just be here for 1 to 2 seasons. No, instead, I wanted to go out and get a tight end who can be here for the next 6, 7, 8 years. And then in round 3, I really wanted to get some more beef on that defensive line. Insert 300-pound Ohio State nose tackle Ty Hamilton. I expect him to move to more of a 2-3 technique. In a 3-4 front, you can be a little bit more flexible with where you put that traditional nose tackle and that 3 technique defensive tackle. Hamilton might slot in the middle, but overall, you get some nice youth injected into that interior defensive line, which was a problem last year in the playoff game against Buffalo. So those are the picks I made for those 3 teams. Let me hear it. Boo me in the chat. Give me an A. Just give me your honest opinion. We'll kind of round out the rest of the mock draft here, see who else was taken in round 3 as a super chat has flown in. Grade my mock drafts A, B, C, D, or F. Ty Man likes my McCord pick. Thank you, Ty Man. Yeah, let's kind of round out the mock. Devin Neal, running back from Kansas, going to the Chiefs. I was wondering who would take Jacob Parrish. It is the Eagles at the end of round 3, or towards the end of it. Who else? Vernon, never heard of this guy. Texas defensive tackle. I know what I'm doing this weekend. Shamir Turner. I was in between Ty Hamilton and Turner, full transparency. That and Billy Bowman. Then Miles Frazier, a guard from LSU, is off to the Big Apple. And that's the entire... Oh, then we have the Niners for now. How many picks are there in round 3? What number is the last one? 102? 103? We got the Niners at pick 100. And then there's only 2 more after that. This is the beginning of round 4 right here, and we will not go this far. We got a super chat coming in from Matthew Taylor. Matthew Taylor's super chat, by the way, puts Falcons today just $15 behind the Browns report for second place in supers for the day. From Falcons today. Do you think the Falcons will get Jalen Ramsey? He was seen in Atlanta. Is this the scene like the Hurts car rental picture scene? I feel like Raheem Morris could have a lot of interest in Jalen Ramsey coming in as a safety. The two, Morris and Ramsey, have spoken very highly of one another publicly. I wonder if the cost is too high. If a trade does happen with Jalen Ramsey, it might be after June 1st. Matthew, thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate it. So it was Kyle McCord or Charles Grant for me for Cleveland. I went with McCord for a little bit more flair for this mock, to be honest, but Charles Grant is a very interesting prospect. I opted not to go with him because I do want to say that, well, this is a Matthew Peterson mock draft. No way Andrew Berry takes a William and Mary player. Mr. Taylor, thank you so much for your super chat. And the last couple picks are in. We'll look at those, and then we'll sign off. So we got 2 third-round picks from the Rams and the Lions to conclude this mock draft. Did you guys like it? I mean, this was the first time we've done something like this at Chat Sports, so would love any honest feedback for, like, things to improve on, what you liked and didn't like. Picks aside, just the overall production side of things here. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Dorian Strong and then Jared Ivey. So there it is. Did we like it? Let me know. That's going to do it for us on our live mock draft. Thank you all so much for watching and for tuning in. We will sign off. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon, and we will be back with a lot more content leading up to the draft, so make sure to subscribe.